You know that dream body you have in mind? Like when you close your eyes and you envision what your body will look like in an ideal perfect world. My goal as an online coach is to help every single one of my clients achieve that body goal, or at least get like hella close to it. And unfortunately, I can't help every single one of you guys with my one-on-one coaching. And so this is why I create videos like this, where I answer your questions that you have about health and fitness so that you can at least get one step closer to reaching your body goals. And if you have never seen my face before, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Tashana. I am a certified personal trainer with the app New Body, which is my very own app. And I essentially just help women either build their glutes or lose body fat and build muscle at the same time, which is also known as body recomposition. Recently, you guys have been asking me quite a lot of questions about how to build your glutes, how to eat properly with, losing weight, PCOS, and I want to go through at least like majority of them in this video. If I don't answer your question that you had asked me in a previous video, just drop it down below again in this video in the comment section, because I will be making more videos answering your guys' questions, because I really want to be able to help you guys. And in order for you to know if I answer your question, you got to be subscribed. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Let's get through these questions because there's a few on here, and I don't want this video to be too long because your girl can yap. So the first question is it possible to burn fat while on a caloric surplus and lift in weight because you want to grow your glutes? Okay, so when it comes to burning fat, you have to be essentially in a caloric deficit. You can't be in a caloric surplus because they're contradictory to each other. Caloric deficit means that you're burning more calories than your body is consuming, and then caloric surplus means that you're eating more calories than your body is consuming. So let's say, for example, your body burns 2,000 calories every single day. In a caloric deficit, you have to be eating less than 2,000 calories to burn fat. But in a caloric surplus, you have to be eating more than 2,000 calories to actually put on weight to build your glutes. Because when it comes to really like doubling the size of your glutes, which I'm assuming they mean here by saying building your glutes, you have to be eating more than your body burns because you have to put on weight. That's the downfall when it comes to really doubling the size of your glutes, is that you're gonna essentially put on weight and you can't really control where the weight is going to go. You can eat leaner, you can eat cleaner, you can increase your protein intake so that you are building more muscle, so you have more of a leaner physique, and you try to keep your waist and your stomach as small as possible throughout the process. However, you're still gonna gain a little bit of a stomach and a little bit of a tummy. It's what comes with the gains of the glutes. Now, when it comes to losing body fat while trying to build your glutes, this really depends on how much body fat you're trying to lose. So if you're trying to lose a significant amount of body fat, so let's say you're trying to lose 40 plus pounds, you can't really double the size. Like, you can't do that because you're basically having to be in a caloric deficit, and that means you're going to be losing body fat all over your body, which also means your glutes. So often when people are on a weight loss journey, they typically will lose their glutes as well because you're losing body fat all over. If you're someone that wants to lose like 20 pounds in body fat, you can definitely build your glutes at the same time because you're not going to be that much in a caloric deficit. So what you would want to do to make sure that you can lose the body fat while building your glutes is you have to make sure that you're eating about 300 calories below your maintenance level. And you also, which is most important, okay, have to make sure that you are eating enough protein. Eating enough protein is what's going to help you be able to build those glutes, build those muscles. Because if you guys didn't know, protein is the building block when it comes to building muscle, and your glutes is a muscle. So basically, to build your glutes, you got to make sure that you're eating enough protein. And by having a caloric deficit of 300 calories below your maintenance level, it's going to make sure that you are burning body fat, but it's also going to make sure that you're not losing so much body fat to the point where like your glutes are going to be getting smaller and smaller. You're going to see that your glutes is going to be taking up a nice physique. It's going to be rounder. It's going to poke out more, essentially, if you're doing the right exercises. And you're also going to notice that your waist will be getting smaller because you are leaning out due to the fact that you're in that caloric deficit and you're prioritizing protein. So it really ultimately just depends on how much body fat you're looking to lose when it comes to losing body fat and building glutes at the same time. But being in a caloric surplus is not gonna make you lose body fat whatsoever. Now, the second question is, what do you do to make sure your legs are at the right distance from one another for your squats? Okay, so squats is not a one size fit all. It's not, you have to position your feet like this for every single person to get a good squat and to have the right form. When it comes to squatting, there's so many factors that come into play when it comes to how deep you can get into your squat. From how tall are you? Are you someone who has long legs and a shorter torso? Like myself, I'm a tall girl, 5'9", but most of my body is legs. I have long legs, okay? Also comes into place ankle mobility. Do you have good ankle mobility? Is your ankle mobility garbage? Because if it is, it's going to be hard for you to get low into your squat. So things like this, you guys have to pay attention to, and you have to adjust your form based off of these factors. So my rule of thumb that I would recommend you to start off with and then go from there is start off by positioning your feet just a little bit past shoulder width apart. So you don't want your feet to be in alignment with your shoulders. Literally step 1 foot outside of that, and even turning your toes slightly outwards. So not having your toes directly straight ahead of you in a narrow stance, but slightly out, kind of like a plie or sumo. And this is gonna help you with getting deeper into your squats. And if you feel like you still are not able to get low into your squats, then open up your feet a little bit wider until you notice like, hey, I'm able to get a little bit lower now that my feet is wider. I do not want you guys to think that you need to have such a narrow stance where your feet are so close together when squatting, because that is so far from the truth. Like, that doesn't determine if your squat form is good or not. You have to position your feet with what works best for you, even your chest placement. As someone who's tall, as I said, I have long legs. I can't be all the way upright with my chest when squatting because I'm not going to be able to get at least to parallel. If I want to get a deep squat like ass to grass, I need to lean my chest slightly forward, and that's because I have long legs. So if you're someone who's like me, lean your chest slightly forward, turn your toes slightly outwards. If this still doesn't work, it might be that your ankle mobility is not the greatest, and you're gonna have to work on that. So you can do ankle mobility stretches and drills and exercises. There's so many that you can find on YouTube. Squat University, their YouTube channel is so good when it comes to squatting, ankle mobility drills, like you can learn so much with this guy's videos. I highly recommend you guys to check them out if you want to get better with your squats. The third question is, what are your thoughts on fasting? Oh, the girls who love intermittent fasting are not gonna like it. You guys are not gonna like it at all, because I know y'all love your intermittent fasting. I don't believe in it. I don't support it. I do not agree with it. I do not suggest it. The only time I will suggest someone doing intermittent fasting is if it's for religious purposes. But if you are doing it because you want to lose weight and you think that giving yourself a eating window from 12 to 7 p.m. so that you are not overeating and you're not eating too late in the day and you're being able to cut back on your calories this way, I do not suggest it whatsoever. Now, I know for some people it works. By all means, if it's working for you, cool, do your thing. But for me, personally, and with my clients, I do not recommend it. And the reason behind is because typically I've noticed that when people give themselves this window to eat between, which is usually 12 to 7 or even 1 to 7, you are missing out on your calories, especially your protein. It is so hard for a lot of people who do intermittent fasting to reach their protein goal for the day. And the reason behind this is because, think about it. When you're eating your first meal at 12 to 1 p.m., that's gonna be what? Your lunch? Because you're not having breakfast at that time. Let's be for real. Usually you're skipping breakfast when you do intermittent fasting. And I also see people do this, which is kind of crazy. You'll have coffee before you have your first meal, which you should not be doing. Regardless if you're intermittent fasting or not, you should have something in your system before you have your first cup of coffee. But let's get back to intermittent fasting. Your first meal is at 12 to 1 p.m. Now that's going to be a lunch. Your next meal is going to be around what, 5:36? That's going to be dinner. And then you're done for the day. Majority of people who eat like this are not going to hit at least 100 grams of protein in a day. You're not going to hit that. So that's already setting you up for failure when it comes to building muscle, especially for my girls who want to build your glutes. Now, the second problem I have with intermittent fasting is you're eating 2 meals a day. And typically, like, this is on average. I'm not saying every case is like this, but typically you're not eating enough calories in those 2 meals. You'll probably hit at most 1,400 calories. And for a lot of people, that is too low of a caloric deficit. That is putting your metabolism at such a slower pace. And that's the last thing you want when you're on a weight loss journey. When you are trying to lose weight, you need to speed up your metabolism because you want your body to burn fat while you're resting. You don't want your body to just be burning when you're doing these crazy workouts, doing intense cardio, Stairmaster. You want your body to be burning calories when you're just chilling watching Netflix, when you're just chilling, talking to your friend, talking to your man, talking to your partner. You know what I mean? That is what the goal is when it comes to weight loss. And you can do this by making sure that you're eating enough protein and that you're eating enough throughout the day. When you slow down your metabolism, it makes it harder for your body to let go of that weight because it's not burning calories as fast as it could if you had a faster metabolism at a resting rate. I would suggest, more than anything, have a breakfast, but give yourself a cutoff time when you're no longer gonna eat at the end of the day. So if that cutoff time is 8 p.m. so that you have a good 2.5-hour window between your last meal to going to bed, do that. But I really do recommend you guys to eat breakfast just because it helps set up your day in terms of meeting your protein goal, meeting your calorie goal, and it also gets your metabolism working first thing in the morning, because when your metabolism is working constantly throughout the day to break down food, this is what helps boost your metabolism, which is what we spoke about. That was a little long. That was a little long of an answer. So let's try to make the next one kind of short. Is it true about the different information about which exercise works which part of the glutes? Can you make a video just explaining this topic? I think I know what you're trying to say. You're basically trying to ask if the information you're hearing about which exercise works the lower part of the glutes or the upper part of the glutes is factual. It's hard for me to say because I don't know what information you're hearing. I don't know what videos you're watching. But what I will say when it comes to knowing what exercise works your lower glutes and upper glutes, I have a ton, okay? My information is factual. You do your research, do your back check, ask ChatGPT, whatever. Also, Brett Contreras, I probably butchered this man's name, the glute guy, amazing guy to look at and research and watch his videos to learn how to target your upper glutes and your lower glutes. But a quick rundown of what exercises targets lower glutes. Those are going to be your knee flexion exercises, so like your lunges, your squats, your Bulgarian split squats, your step ups. You also have your hinging, so those are RDLs, good mornings, kettlebell swings. And then the upper glutes are going to be exercises that are abduction movements where you're moving your legs away from your body. So these are seated hip abductions, clamshells, standing cable hip abductions, fire hydrants. Those are really good for targeting the upper glutes. Now there is a follow-up question. I do RDLs and I feel it in my lower back. Can we replace that exercise with another one? Okay, this is very common. A lot of people feel RDLs in their lower back and you're not supposed to. You want to feel RDLs more so in your hamstrings, which are the back muscles of the legs, and your lower glutes. Now, in order for you to feel it there, you have to be hinging at your hips, which literally just means pushing your butt back. So what I want you guys to think of RDLs is as a front to back movement and not an up and down movement. Because what often happens, which is why you guys feel it in your lower back, is you're just dropping your chest down to the floor and up. And when you do that, it's your lower back that's doing that movement, that up and down movement. Whereas when you are pushing your butt back and forward, this is a hinging motion at the hips, and this is where you get your glutes and your hamstrings working. My recommendation to learn how to hinge is 1, do a kneeling single leg RDL. This has helped a lot of my beginner clients learn how to do RDLs. I'll put the video over here for you guys to see what exactly this looks like. Super beginner friendly for you to do. Another option too to help you learn how to hinge is stand 1 foot in front of a wall. And all you want to do is push your butt all the way back until you touch the wall. Once you can touch the wall comfortably, step another foot in front of the wall and then push your butt all the way back once again until you touch the wall. You want to basically keep doing this, so keep advancing and pushing your butt back until you are able to push your butt all the way back where now your head is in a straight alignment with your butt. So you have like a nice straight line from your head to your butt. And that is going to create the perfect RDL for you, where you are actually hinging at your hips and not using your lower back to just drop your chest up and down. Question number 5, how many times a week do you do this leg day workout from your leg day video? Okay, so I recently had posted a walkthrough mic'd up leg day workout. Make sure you guys go check that out if you want to know like a really good glute focused leg day to do if your goal is to if your goal is to grow your glutes. I do that exercise, like that workout, 1 time a week, but I do legs 2 to 3 times a week. Now each leg day I do different exercises. It's not the same workout that I'm doing every single leg day. So each week I'll have 2 to 3 different leg day workouts, but I'll repeat those leg day workouts every single week. I hope that makes sense. So just to clarify and repeat, I'm doing 2 to 3 different leg day workouts every week, but I repeat those leg day workouts every single week with progressive overload. So I think someone else had asked me a similar question about that as well. Do you focus on this same leg day routine for the 3 days you work your glutes, or do you change it up? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I do different leg day workouts every single leg day that week, but I repeat those workouts every single week. Follow-up question is, how do you structure your leg days for your glutes? So I have a lot of videos about this, so I'll give this a little quick rundown. How you want to structure it is based on how many leg days you have in a week. So if you're doing 2 leg days a week, do 6 exercises each leg day. If you're doing 3 leg days a week, you can get away with 4 to 5 exercises every single leg day. Now, you want to make sure that your last exercise, or I would say last to second to last, so at least 1 to 2 exercises every single leg day is an upper glute exercise. And I just broke down what those exercises look like in the previous questions. Now, your other 4 to 5 exercises are going to be for your lower glutes. And that's also what I mentioned before: hip thrusts, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, step ups, all those good stuff. Now, you want to make sure that you're doing between 3 to 4 sets for each exercise, and you're doing reps between 8 to 15, depending on what the exercise is for each exercise. Now, it is a bit more intricate in terms of like, well, how many sets and reps should you do for each exercise? Because you want to make sure that you're doing enough volume per muscle group of the glutes every single week. Now, if you want me to create a workout program for you because you don't want to do all that thinking and like process of how do I do this, and it's a little bit of math kind of involved with it, then you can sign up for a one-on-one online coaching. Just book your consultation call down below. We'll hop on a call. We'll discuss what it looks like, and then we'll see if it's a good fit for you. But that's basically how I structure my leg days. And as I said, I have a ton of videos on here for you guys to watch with more in-depth information on how you can do that yourself. I feel like we're making some good time here. I could be so wrong, but I feel like we're doing good. I feel like I'm not yapping too much. I'm being conscious about how long I'm speaking for each question. After 6 to 8 weeks, should you switch up your routine even if you are progressively overloading each week? Okay, so typically you want to follow a workout program for about 12 weeks, which is 3 months. And you want to make sure that you're incorporating progressive overload. You don't have to do progressive overload every single week, but you do have to do it when you feel like you can increase the intensity because it's getting easier for you. Now, that doesn't mean just upping the weights. This can mean increasing the reps, increasing the sets, slowing down your tempo, putting pauses in between for your reps. There's so many different ways for you to increase the intensity. I, however, don't really switch up my workout routines. I will do like the same workouts for months, okay, like 5-6 months. Now, that's just because I don't personally really care for switching it up. Some people, they get bored and they want to switch it up. Some people, they don't care. They'll do the same exercises, same workout routine for a whole year. So really, it just depends on what your preference is. With my clients, I always check in with them after 3 months and be like, hey, what are some exercises that you don't like? We can swap it out, because there's so many exercises out there that targets the same muscles and does just as good as a job. So you don't have to stick to just hip thrusts, because hip thrusts are golden when it comes to building your glutes. Like, you can swap out hip thrusts for a couple of weeks or months with another exercise like squats instead, or doing Bulgarian split squats. You know what I mean? I would suggest at least 3 months minimum sticking to a workout program before you switch it up. Question number 8, have you had any clients with PCOS? And if so, did losing weight actually help reduce their symptoms? I will not speak on this because I have never worked with anyone with PCOS, and so I don't know anything about that. So I will just have to skip that question, unfortunately. I don't want to give you guys a BS answer acting like I know something when I have no idea what I'm talking about, because that's just fraudulent. So unfortunately, I can't answer that. So I'm sorry, girl. Question number 9. I have like 20 different workout videos that I alternate between. It's a mix of cardio and strength training. Is it necessary that I stick to a certain routine for 4 to 6 weeks to see better results? That kind of falls into line with the previous question. So 20 different workout videos saved that you're alternating is kind of crazy, girl. It's kind of crazy, okay? You definitely do have to stick, as I said, to a workout program for about 12 weeks. And that means you are doing the same workout videos every single week. Now, the thing with YouTube workout videos, I love them because it really is a great way for people to kind of get into working out, especially at home, but you have to increase the intensity of the workouts. And typically with YouTube workout videos, you're not increasing the intensity because they're not doing like, okay guys, this is gonna be week 1, and then week 2 you're doing another same, like you're doing the same workout, but you're increasing the intensity by upping the weights. You know what I mean? So what I would recommend, if you're following the same workout videos, you have to kind of track it yourself in terms of increasing the intensity. So let's say week 1 you're using 5-pound dumbbells, and that's hard. Week 2, 5-pound dumbbells, that's still kind of hard. Week 3, 5-pound dumbbells, but it's actually easier. Up it week 4 by 10-pound dumbbells. You have to do the same thing over and over and progressively overload to get stronger with that movement for you to actually see the results of building the muscles and getting stronger that you're looking to achieve. Rather than switching it up every single time, your body's not really going to get the results that it's looking for. So pick 3 to 4 workout videos, so 1 per workout day, and do those same videos every single week, but do progressive overload based on what feels like is getting easy for you and you can up the weights in. Question number 10. What if I want to lose weight and keep my nice butt? I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, so we kind of answered that question earlier, right? You can do body recomposition because you're not trying to lose so much weight. You're trying to lose just 20 pounds. So you want to be in a slight caloric deficit, about 350 to like 300 calories below your maintenance level, and you want to prioritize protein. So let's say you weigh 160 pounds and you want to lose 20 pounds. So you want to get down to 140 pounds. You want to eat 0.8 times your ideal body weight, okay, which is 140, 20 pounds minus 160. Do 0.8 times 140. Let me actually do that right now so we can have the actual number of protein. Is 112 grams of protein. That's the minimum, okay? The range is 0.8 to 1 times your ideal body weight. So 140 being the ideal body weight, 140 times 1 is 140. So you want to have 114 to 140 grams of protein a day. Ideally go more on the 1 gram, okay, like 1 gram per pound weight, so 140 grams of protein a day, because if I'm being honest, 115 grams of protein a day isn't really that much for someone who wants to maintain and build a nice little butt. Do that in a caloric deficit. Make sure you're getting your steps in, okay, hitting about 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, and make sure you're strength training 3 to 4 times a week, and you'll be a-okay with losing 20 pounds and keeping your nice butt. All right, question number 11. I'm doing body recomposition, so I'm in a slight caloric deficit trying to lose fat and build muscle, and it's been 3 months now and I'm not seeing good results. Do I switch to a surplus, hope the fat melts off? Okay, so this is a common thing I'm noticing. Caloric surplus is not ideal when it comes to losing body fat. You're not gonna melt body fat off when you're in a caloric surplus. You're gonna gain, if anything. So if you are in a body recomposition for the past 3 months and you're not noticing much results, one thing I would say is first make sure that you take progress photos and you take measurements. When you are doing body recomposition, the scale is not going to be a good determining factor of what results are being made. Because when you are losing body fat and building muscle, the scale is just gonna show a number. It's not gonna show you how much body fat you're losing and how much muscle you're gaining. It might just show you the same number weeks after weeks after weeks. So if this is what you're experiencing, I want you to get a tape measurer, go to like the dollar store, get a tape measurer and measure the circumference of your waist. So just around your belly button, each thigh, your glutes, your arms, and take photos with a sports bra and shorts. Take the shorts away from your belly button, okay? We want your stomach to hang out. We want to see it all. Arms out to the side, front view, back view, side view. And I want you to do this every single month. And if you notice that the measurement of your waist is getting smaller, this is a very good indicator that you are losing body fat. Because when you're building muscle and losing body fat in a body recomp, you're not going to gain muscle around your stomach and your midsection. Like your midsection is not going to expand. It will get smaller if you are losing body fat. But your glutes will get bigger, your legs will get bigger, your arms may get bigger, but your stomach will be a very good indicator of if you're losing body fat. Now, let's say you're doing all that. Let's say you're doing your measurements and your photos, but nothing is moving, nothing is budging. The measurements are staying the same. You're probably not in a caloric deficit. Often enough, people think they're in a caloric deficit, but they're really not when they actually count their calories. And when people count their calories, often enough too, they don't count them properly. I see this so many times with my clients. They're not counting the little snacking that they do in between, little handfuls of chips here and there, or a handful of nuts. They're not counting the drinks that they're having, or on the weekend when they have girls' night or charcuterie board with a glass of wine. Everything counts and it matters. And you have to really count them, because those couple of 100 calories can add up to the point where you're actually no longer in that caloric deficit. So I recommend for next week, count everything that you're eating. If it's under 10 calories, don't count it. But if it's above 10 calories, count it. And I want you to weigh yourself and do your measurements. And then what I want you to do is I want you to do 300 to 350 calories below that level. And then I want you to do your weight check and your measurements again. And you're gonna do that every single week, okay, for a good month, and then see what your average is for the month. If you're noticing that you're losing body fat around your midsection, then that means you're on the right track and you just gotta keep going. With body recomposition, it takes a long time. It's not something that happens quickly. So I say give yourself a solid 6 months, but you should start seeing something move and something change within 3 months of actually being in a caloric deficit, actually weight training 3-4 times a week, like pushing yourself, and actually getting about 8 to 10K steps every single day. And as usual, you guys probably know by now, like make sure you're getting your protein in. You're getting a significant amount of protein every single day. All right, we're on the last question. What exercise do you recommend to work your lower glutes? I'm noticing some growth in the gluteus maximus, mid part of my glutes, but the lower part of my bum is still a bit saggy. I do squats, RDLs, and hip thrusts mostly. Okay, so let's break this down very quickly because we spoke a bit about lower glutes, upper glute exercises earlier. So the gluteus maximus is the lower and middle part of your glutes. It's the biggest portion of the glutes, the biggest muscle. So from what I'm understanding, the middle part of the gluteus maximus is fine, but it's that lower part that she's missing. She wants it to lift up a little bit more. What exercises are gonna help lift the glutes up are the exercises that you're already doing. Your squats, your RDLs, your hip thrusts. Those are perfect exercises for the gluteus maximus. If you're not seeing any changes or any results, it's probably because you're not giving it enough time. It takes so much longer than you guys think it takes when it comes to building your glutes. And I mean, not 3-6 months. I mean like a whole year, like 12 months, 18 months, okay? Make sure that you are really pushing yourself every time. You're going beyond what you mentally think you can do, because often your mind will be like, oh my God, this is heavy, stop, give up. But your body can probably do a couple more reps. And those are the reps that really count. So push yourself more. Make sure you're tracking your progress. You're tracking your weight so you can always increase the intensity. You're eating your protein and you are sticking to a workout program long enough. And I promise you, if you do these exercises, also I would incorporate step-ups, Bulgarian split squats, really good, okay? If you incorporate those exercises, cable kickbacks, I almost got that. Cable kickbacks, really good as well. If you do these exercises, progressive overload for at least a year, take photos, your lower glutes is going to be lifted up and you're going to notice a difference. It just takes time. So those are all the questions, you guys. My camera is flashing, so I want to kind of finish this off before it cuts me off. But I hope this answers your guys' questions. As I said, if you have any further questions that I didn't get to or it didn't make sense what I said, feel free to leave it down below because I will be making more videos like this because I want to help you guys achieve your dream physique. And if you want me to help you with my one-on-one coaching, just click the link down below to sign up. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you know when I post the next Q&A, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.